Hello, everybody. I'm Cracko298, and today we're going over some features and updates I would like to see in City Station Z, aka iStation Z2. So, let's get into it. First, the one thing that I think everybody can agree with in a city type of zombie apocalypse type deal, we need bigger servers. Bigger servers. Roughly with around 30 to 40 people, it would bring so much to the table. With clans and factions as well, maybe some shootouts or something like that. So we'll get into what clans and factions what I have in mind. For this sequel. And so here we go. So just bigger servers in general, it'd be so much more fun. To have like about 50 people in a server all at once. Um, I would love to have it's really bland actually. The game, I'm gonna be real. It looks good, somewhat, but however, the what I would like is the loot to spawn in um troves and abandoned stuff. So like maybe cars or windmills or something like that around those places. Maybe camps. I would like loot to spawn just randomly, like somebody accidentally left it. Um, Maybe a variety in weather. So like heavy rain, blizzards, snow, tundras, and a light rain or something like that. And more idle hazards such as making temperatures variable and days and nights should range not only in temperatures, I think, between -32 and +8, but they should also range in length. Because nighttime is just, let's face it, too short sometimes. People find shelter. I would like to have a longer night. We need unlockables. Unlockables are a reason that people don't stick around too long in Ice Station Z. They're collectibles, but you can't view them and they aren't unique. We have snowmen and Ice Station Z figurines, which is only the Ice Station Z guy and the same copy and pasted snowman. And so what I think is making a skins, cosmetics, or emotes unlockable by adding either a leveling system or a badge system for days that you have survived, players killed, zombies killed, locations met, etc. You can gain money, XP for cosmetics, and to be on a global leaderboard. This also shows or allows people to unlock possible UI themes such as a frosty theme or for all the UI or a background image for like the title screen or something like that. I think that would be really good. Should be simpler to implement. A lot of those unlockables, you just set a variable, and once it hits, then you blah 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 and give the player this or whatever. Um, Friending and factions. Friending in the original game, terrible. It was a good idea on paper, especially for the 3DS and Switch release. It was a good idea on paper. That's the main thing. What I think is that there should be factions or teams which are invite only and that are auto applied immediately if you're a part of a faction, so everybody sees you on the map as soon as you join. And so that would be one thing. And then there can be at most maybe 12 people per faction, so maybe three teams can all be in a server at once or multiple can, and it'd be really fun just to have like a team versus team type deal, or like base building or something like that, or like strongholds that you can take over with others, or like alliances. I'm not saying add alliances or takeovers to the game. I'm just saying that that could be implemented and like used by the community. Weapons and weapon mods, I suggest a more broad expandatory to the our actual arsenal. So maybe for mods you would have maybe a mag expander to expand the mag, maybe three extra two, extra three, or maybe you have certain tiers, so maybe add one, add two, add three to it, or a variety of scopes, which night vision, thermal vision, all that. Or maybe just an iron sight for like a shotgun and a silencer, and that will come into play a little bit later. Um, yeah, remove blacklisting. Like I said up here, it's kind of like the same idea. Remove blacklisting, so then players aren't not allowed to join. So I think blacklisting should just or blocking should only block the text and communication between two players, not the damage output, nor should it affect the way that the player is able to join the server, because those are really stupid. And I feel like in a bigger multiplayer server, it also wouldn't matter too much to just not hear them. Improved texting. So iStation Z's texting and communications are pretty bad. The PC and Nintendo Switch are absolutely terrible. We can get around spamming characters by just, only accepting ASCII characters, which is just the English alphabet and some symbols, like the dollar sign and star. And so that would also be a pretty good idea to allow all those, and then also redo the keyboard for whatever console you're adding it onto, and make it a little bit more intuitive. Um, Improved movements, because let's be real, walking indoors and only like somewhat running outside, terrible ideas. And so what I think is that there should be a running system. Why not add a system, right, for walking in the second game, but also add counterweight, so if you run for too long, you get this disability for this extended amount of time. So my ideas were, if a player runs for too long, like 10 plus seconds, which would be the stamina for the meter bar, something like that, or like 5 seconds, their walk is slower and their accuracy is inhibited by a larger crosshair based on the time spent above the stamina bar. Now, if you go above the stamina bar, you can't go back down until your stamina resets. I think that's kind of obvious. And crouching should not go and prone the player. There should be crouching and there should be proning and standing. Standing is just your normal sprinting movements, everything like that. Crouching should be like a sneaky way to get around zombies so they don't hear you, which I will give in more depth right after this. And proning should just basically like it is right now in iStation Z 2021 on Steam, where you crouch and then you barely move whatsoever. I think a midpoint between running or walking and proning would be a good thing to add to the game. Basically, give zombies more AI. The current zombie system is terrible in iStation Z. Let's face it, the 3DS has more of an excuse than the actual remake. Um, let's add the ability for zombies to hear scrunch or gunshots, alert others, and form huge hordes to attack groups of people if they're in a given area. So maybe if like 40, or maybe if like 10 or 12 people are in a single area, there can be a chance, if there's enough noise, to alert a zombie horde, which will then come and attack them. And it could be like range from anywhere from like maybe 20 to 30 zombies that all just like run after everybody based on the sounds. Um, I also think that update movement to being corresponding with the player. If the player is sprinting, the zombie should always be a little bit more faster than the player until the zombie is taken out. I think that's just given. If the player is walking, they should still be faster than walking, crouching, proning, etc. The zombie should always be faster. And instead of tracking them no matter what in iStation Z, what they should do is, if you go around a solid wall, they should actually just go to where they last saw you. And if they don't see you in a certain, like maybe 100 or maybe 110-degree FOV, or maybe a 90-degree FOV, maybe they will just search around like a standard iStation Z search pattern, where they would just wander around the place. And I think that's very good. And of course, you would have the sounds and everything. It would search for sounds if it heard any, etc. And then, yeah, instead of always tracking you, I think that would be good. It'd add a little bit more realism to it, as well as be just better overall, indulging in, what do you call it? Not innovative, immersive. There we go. A little bit more immersive for the type of game we're going for. Let's add names to the map, because just having markers, terrible. Especially for new players, if you don't know like gray base, right? Everything in the original game was just reference to something. So like the satellite, of course, was the satellite, and a new player wouldn't even know, like, let's say the three lost cabins. Nobody knows where those are at. It's the top right cabin settlement, and so what I think is that there should be names for each settlement on the map, and so like maybe you unlock a location and it pops up with a name um, on the map that is right there, right? And so it'd be like maybe instead of three red cabins, it'll be called abandoned settlement or abandoned townstead or something like that, right? Where it's a name that everybody can reference everything. And I'm not talking about abandoned townstead one, abandoned townstead two. I'm talking about like actual naming for each of the one. Like in the trailer, we saw a hospital. I would like for it to just say if there's multiple hospitals, like West Hospital or something like that, right? And so I think that would be really good. Um, and also add like instead of having just players reference landmarks that make absolutely no sense, like the rocks, there should also be a name tag for these two, which are points of interest or POIs. And so yeah, they should be able. Names should also be able to be toggled on and off, and not always be visible to the player. Maybe they have to press a certain button combination or go into players and enable it, and it saves it into the settings. Or the player menu, and so it saves the toggle switch, whatever, which would be very innovative, or not innovative, but intuitive for players to either play with or without basically HUD elements. You're able to change more settings. Yeah, you're able to change more settings like bloom, motion blur, FOV, gamma, game chat, etc., etc. Game chat we already have. FOV we need to go into the actual files and save files of the game. In the original, all this shit, and actually, well, change it ourselves manually. PC exclusive features like being able to snap to the correct resolution, apply UI elements to the UW or ultra wide monitors. So instead of having it so the UI elements are all out of whack on ultra wides or 4x1s, you would have it so they're all correctly displayed in UI elements, because that's something with iStation Z on PC that also happens. If you have an ultra wide or a 4x1 display, or a 16:9 display too, or a 16:10 display, my bad. And you also should be able to change resolution, VSync, and max FPS, and locking, of course. You should also have variable refresh rate, which most games like Unreal Engine are able to do. UI ideas are. So another thing, UI ideas. So add keyboard support if the console specifically supports it. If not, same on PC. I do think that keyboard support should be reigning supreme. Of course, better animations, and the animations in iStation Z 2021 were very, very janky, like insanely janky. The player running, the goose. The only one that felt natural is actually a zombie. We need more running and walking like the zombie. I think that is my main takeaway right there. And so yeah, those are my things I would like to see in iStation Z. I mean 2 or City Station Z. If you guys like this video, make sure to like it. If you didn't, well then don't. I'll see you all in my next video. Bye bye.